Hello my friends. In the day 2 guide I showed you MIDI. So if you haven't watched that, maybe watch that. But today, let's call this day 3, and this is audio. So when you're messing with audio, like loops, playing with loops, like arranging loops, making them interesting. Okay, so let's get into it, man. I'm in Ableton here. First things first, if you don't have Splice, I would really get that, because that's a really great place to get loops, and they're all royalty free. You can also use like Ableton loops. There's also other things like Looper Man. You can also sample on your own, right? Like grab stuff from YouTube or from records or whatever it is that you want to sample from. But we're just going to use Splice today. So first thing before we do that, in your preferences for Ableton, go to Live Preferences. And what we want to do here is go to the Record Warp Launch tab. Okay? Inside of there, we've got this warp fades area. For dragging in loops, we're going to do it really easy today, where the loops already have a BPM built into them and set. Now, if you weren't doing that, this would be a little more different, but we'll dive deeper into things at another time. For now, for warp fades, go to this one, Loop Warp Short Samples. Put that on auto. Okay. For auto warp long samples, leave that on. For default warp mode, let's have that in complex. And for create fades on clip edges, let's leave that on. Okay, so here's the settings right here. Auto, on, complex, on. Now let's get into it. I'm going to go to Splice, and I'm just going to search synth loop. Let's go for that, synth loop. And we'll just grab freaking, what's this? Oh, that's playing from my computer. That's all right. Let's grab that. You search stuff and then you click on the plus button and you'll have it. So I got this now. And with Splice, you can literally just like drag it onto an audio track. So I've got an audio track right here. I'm just going to drag this by clicking on its icon straight into Ableton. Okay, now let's see what we're working with here. Okay, and it's much slower than it originally was because it's trying to warp down to the speed of my project. So this is my tempo. So I'm going to turn the metronome on. Okay, cool. So now this thing is in 150. You can see it. Okay, on Splice, all the loops have the BPMs written right there. So this is in 150, so I'm going to go to 150 in my project just to hear what it originally was. Okay, so now what a lot of people do is they just kind of like have to duplicate this, like click on it and duplicate, and they just end up with this project that's just like this over and over. What you're gonna want to do is like make multiple versions of this. And what I mean is, let's just keep this as the original. So I'm gonna click on the track here and name it Command R to original. And then I'm gonna duplicate that track by clicking on it, Command D. Okay, cool. I'm gonna move this over to where that one ends. Now, first things first, before I actually turn this into something cool, I want you to know what you have at your disposal, okay? Like the tools you have at your disposal, some of the easiest tools you've got. So the first one is when you double click where the hand is on any audio clip, you've got all this stuff. First thing, the easiest thing, right here, pitch. Use that pitch knob and move that around, right? Like this is already someone else's creation, right? Like a lot of people don't really think about that, like what it is that they're getting from Splice. It's somebody else's creation where they sampled stuff or did MIDI or both and then changed it up and played with stuff and made something cool and then they put it on Splice. It's already someone else's. Let's like, you know, make it ours a little bit. So I'm gonna go to the pitch here and I'm just gonna move the knob until I hear something I like. That's nice. It's nice the lower we go. I like -7. So let's go with -7. So that's one thing. pitch, changing the pitch. The next thing is you've got this divided by 2 and times 2. If you click on the times 2, it'll make it half as fast. So it's going to take times 2. It's going to take 2 times as long to happen, which means if I click on it, listen to it now. Okay, if I click on divided by 2, we'll be back to normal. If I click on divided by 2 again, double as fast. Oh, that's actually that could be fucking cool. Okay, so I'm gonna times 2, bring it back to normal. And now let's just, so that's another thing, right? So you got pitch, you've got times 2 divided by 2. You've also got just tempo of your project, like moving the tempo of your project. So like, yeah. All right, I just moved the tempo up to 168. Okay, cool. Now, once you change the pitch and the tempo of things, you've also got your warp modes. Okay, so you've got this complex here. If I change this, it'll have a different quality than it does currently. So I'll try Complex Pro, and let's listen to it. Switch to Complex. Okay. Okay, let's go to this one, Beats. Right? They've all got kind of different qualities, which is cool. I'm going to leave it in Complex for this. Okay. Now, I want you guys to understand how to, first of all, remember the magnifying glass up top right here. That's how I'm always zooming in and out, okay? I want you guys to take note of a couple of things. When we chop loops to make them our own, first hotkey you're going to want to know is Cmd E. That will split clips. Let's say I want this to happen over and over. Well, what I can do is I can click right at the stop point there where I want it to start over and duplicate itself. I can click there and press Cmd E. That's going to split the clip. You see that? The other way I can do it is just by selecting the area and pressing Cmd E. And that'll split it, right? So check this out. I'm just going to grab all this and Cmd E. Look at that. It split it right there. I could also just, like I said, click somewhere and press Cmd E. And we'll split just that moment. And I'm always pressing Cmd Z to undo. Now, if I want to take this and I want to duplicate it, I'll click on it and I'll press Cmd D. If I press it a bunch of times, listen. Right? Let's say that I want this clip to be over here. Well, what I can do is click on it and hold Option and move it. I can move it around. Look, and now it's there. So Option moves stuff around. I'm telling you all this because I want you to know what tools you have at your disposal to move stuff around and play with stuff. The other thing is you can click on this and literally just press the letter R. You can just press the letter R and it'll reverse it. Okay, which would sound crazy if we then went, after reversing it, to like ×2. And maybe I'll move the pitch up a lot. Okay? Lots of different ways to play this game. I'm gonna go back to where we were at. Okay, so let's start chopping this thing. So I'm just gonna listen. Okay, cool. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of grab some stuff and just move it around and just see if it gives us any cool ideas. I'm just gonna grab this. I'll put that there. And then I'll click on this and I'll press Cmd D and duplicate it. And then I'll click on this and reverse it. And then I'll put this here. Let's see what this is all. What's that? I'll put that there. Let's listen to that. Sometimes that's cool, playing games like that. In this case, it wasn't. So I'm going to find what I actually want. I'm just going to click and imagine it's the beginning. I like that. I like that for the very beginning. So I'm going to drag that. So I'm grabbing it, and I'm just dragging it to the beginning. Let's try that next to it. Nah, let's try this. Yeah, what's that about? Yeah, maybe I'll put that one in the beginning, actually. I'm just going to move it over here for a second. Then I'll fill its space with this clip and try that. And then I'll bring that back to the beginning. I'm not enjoying this at all. I don't like this shit at all, guys. I got to be honest with you. Let's go to pitch and just try the warp modes. Nah. I'm just moving the pitch knob. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna grab this. Just these three, and I'm gonna duplicate that. Let's hear that. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab that, and I'm gonna bring it over here. That's 1 bar. 9 to 10. Let's see. I like this. Dun 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 dun. Let's do that with this one too. So that was, it looks like it's 3. So I'm gonna grab 3 here, duplicate. Woo! Hold on. And I think that should happen again. This whole bar should happen again. I'm gonna grab it all and duplicate it. Yeah, so what happens if I grab that there? And I'm gonna grab this one, just this little piece, and I'm gonna hold option, bring it over. Let's see what kind of loop we're starting to work with here. Wait, you hear how the second bar goes? This little piece is lower. So like, I want that to happen here too. I'm gonna grab that, Command C. I'm gonna copy it. Why? Because I just pulled a bunch of moves that I want to undo. But I do want this little piece here. So I'm gonna copy it by selecting it and pressing Command C. Now I can press Command Z and undo a bunch until it looks like what it used to look like. And it's still, the computer remembers that I copied it. So I'm gonna click where I want it and paste. Let's see. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna delete the second half of this. Okay, let's hear the loop right quick. I'm gonna put it on a loop by selecting all of it. Okay, and pressing Command L. Now it's on a loop. I really like that ending. I'm getting like a... It could also be that, right? So I'm starting to think about groove now. Yeah, it could be that, right? It could also be... I couldn't do do-do-doom with the like... But like... Doom, 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 do-do-doom, doom, 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 doom. Right? We've got that. We've also got... We've also got like... Right? I'm hearing a bunch of different grooves now. So what you want to do once you have one loop is let's make another one. Okay? This is how you avoid stagnation in your arrangement, is by making new loops, right? So one easy way to do it, I'm just going to show you guys like some easy ways to do it. Eventually it's going to be really fun, these videos, because I'm going to actually go like do some crazy shit like how I do, but I really want you guys to not just be like, I don't even know what he's doing. So I'm just going to like, for some more videos here, it's going to be the beginner shit, all right? But I promise you, the really fun shit is coming. First, I'm just going to grab all of this, and I'm going to hold option, and I'm going to drag it down here. You see how I'm not even going to another track? It's on like just nothingness space. That's okay. When I drop it, it'll create me a new track. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and call this one loop 1. And for this one, I'm going to call it loop 2, even though it's the same thing. But let's mess with it, okay? One easy thing to do, guys, if you don't already have the plugin auto filter on your favorites category, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go right here to audio effects. Okay? Hit audio effects. Now go to EQ and filters. Open that up, and you see auto filter right there? Drag that into your favorites. If you don't have a collection here called favorites, all you need to do is go right here. If you hover right there next to collections and press edit, you can turn one on, rename it, okay? And you can click on done. Then you can always rename. Right click, rename. Okay, so now I've got auto filter here in my favorites. What I want to do is I want to drag auto filter onto my second loop here. And what you do with this is it's just a very easy thing to do and always kind of fun. So I'm going to grab this the circle in here. Okay, if I click on that circle and I move it, you find a little spot you like. Okay, that right there, guys, is already 2 different kind of vibes for loops. Here's the first one. At a certain point, though, it goes. Okay, now what if all of this was an octave down? If I click on this and then I grab all of it, I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to click on the last space. Right? Now I can't see my audio parameters though, where I can do the pitch wheel, which is what I want to do. So what I really need to do is double click on the first one. Okay, double click. Now do you see how I've got my audio parameters? Nice. At this point I'm going to do what we did, which is click, hold shift, click on the last one. Now if I move the pitch, it'll move the pitch of all of them. Now an octave, if you don't make music yet, like if you don't play any instruments or anything and you're just messing with Ableton, always know that an octave is 12 half steps. So if right now, what is my pitch wheel at? +7. So what is -12 from that? Because that's going to be this an octave down. -12 from 7 is -5. So I'm going to move my pitch knob down to -5. Oh, come on, dude. There's already fun shit happening here. Totally. And then I'm going to create maybe one more loop. So I'm going to click on this loop here, and I'm going to duplicate the track. And I'm going to move all this over. Again, I did that shift move where I click on the first one. I hope this is... Did I even record? Yeah, it's recording. Okay. All right. So now I've got a third loop. And this is where I want to play... I want to play a little fun game. I don't exactly know what to do here to make this. I'm going to open this filter up. Let's just cut some stuff. Let's just go like that. And I'm going to make this piece, double click on it, I'm going to make it half as fast. So how do we do that? Right here on ×2. Okay, so let's hear this. I like... So I wanted to do that on this too, on this bar at 18, same way it did on 17. It's not doing quite it, but I can imagine that next to each other is going to be like this, or close. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to move it over. And right here, I'm going to do that same move. I'm just creating repetition, right? So we've got dun 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 dun. I'm just creating repetition. What did we do? We clicked on that last one and we did ×2. And I'm just going to do the same little moves I've been pulling. And now this is the same thing as this. So I can really just, like, or it's what I want it to be at least. So I'm going to click on this one and hold Option and drag it over to the place I want it in. And then same little thing where it's just dun dun, the same way it's been on all these bars. Dun dun, dun dun, dun dun, dun dun, and then a little space. And I like this. That sounds cleaner. That sounds cleaner than this. So why don't we grab that one and hold Option, move it over to the left here. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna turn the metronome on real quick. At the end. What if I just take this one and duplicate it 3 times? Just this little piece here. 1, 2, 3. And so it's the same at the end. That's fun. That's fun. Sometimes if you want stuff to feel like it's stuttering a little bit more, what you want to do is delete a little space at the end of it. What I mean is, I want this, all these, to maybe go like this. Do you see how it's just a little bit, it's off the grid? Now, to access this, guys, huge key command here for you to remember always and forever. Command 4 will get you off the grid. So if I look at my grid lines, how they're all straight and perfect. If I press Command 4, do you see how they just turned into like paper clips? Like they're dotted now. That takes me off the grid, which means that I can just go to a bracket, move it, and I'm free, baby. I'm free. Oh shit. And now I can like this. Look what I'm doing here. Let's hear that. Right? It's more stuttery. Right? The more you do, the more you go, the more stuttery you can get. Okay? I'm undoing that. I don't even really want this to be stuttery, but I did want to show you that. So I'm going to go back and do that. Now, another thing I want to show you is the clip envelope. This is a little much for day 3 audio clip day, but I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to double click on this right here. I've got the audio parameters for it here. Now, you see this right here? Looks like maybe a little graph line or something. If I click on that, and your guys' it might be vertical instead of how mine's all horizontal tabs, but whatever it is, it's that one. Wherever you see that, click on that. I've got right here envelopes. I want it to be on clip, and I want this one not to be on gain, but rather transposition. That's going to transpose this thing. Okay, so what I can do is I can draw lines. If I draw a line there and then I draw a line down, listen to what it's going to do. Because it's doing the pitch. So if I went up, so I'm going to go down quite a bit. I want to do that on all these, so I'm going to click on it, on this one now, and do kind of the same thing. And this one. Click on this one here, and I'm going to go down on it. Go down on it. Sorry. Let's hear it. Great. For our purposes here, well, first let me rename this to loop 3. For our purposes here, I'm going to stop. But usually I would keep going and I would keep having fun. And there are so many ways that I am like itching to show you for how you can like have crazy fun with this shit. But we're going to keep it simple for today and not over inundate ourselves. I know sometimes you want to learn fast, but you got to kind of know you got to kind of, you know what I mean? Kendrick Lamar needs to learn English before rapping the way he does. That's what we're doing. We're learning Ableton English. Then we'll get crazy. So now I'm going to unsolo this. We got 3 now. 3 different loop patterns. And let's hear which one I want to start the song. Probably that one. And I probably want that to go twice. Now remember, this one here has the auto filter on it. You probably didn't see what I just did to get to the auto filter, back to it, because my face, I'm guessing, is blocking it. But if I move this up and then you just see real quick, I'm going here, guys. Baby Ableton, I call it. It's that little box where you can see the plugins. That brings us back, and we can alternate here. Click on here. It'll bring us between audio clip view and our actual instrument or audio effect view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to bring that to the beginning. I'm going to turn off our original. In fact, I'm going to right click on it and make it gray so that I don't even have to, and I'm going to right click on the clip and make it gray so that it just, I know that it's just our original. I'm going to turn it off here. Okay, track off, and I'm going to bring this in so we're actually looking at what we need to look at. Now I remember I wanted this to happen twice. So I'm going to grab all this stuff and I'm going to duplicate it, Cmd D. Now, what should happen next in my song? Probably that's not next. Probably this is next. I'm thinking, what is this one? It's this one in the beginning is auto filter plus it's an octave down. So why don't we just make this one an octave down and not have the auto filter on it? So it'll be opened up the way it is, but it's going to be an octave down. So how do I do that? I'm going to grab this clip, double click on it, and I'm going to hold shift, click on the last one, and now over here, my audio tab right now is collapsed, so I'm going to double click it and open it, and here we've got pitch. So I'm going to bring that an octave down, which +7 minus an octave is -5 because it's 12 difference. So I'm going to bring that down to -5. And why don't we change the warp mode of this? Let's try another one. That's cool. Do they sound good going into each other? Cool. And I'm going to let this happen twice. So I'm going to grab it all, Cmd D for duplicate. And I'm going to move this track. I'm going to drag it, put it there, so that I see it in chronological order of how it's going to happen in my song. I'm going to grab all that and duplicate it. Okay, now look, guys. This is how you essentially will eventually create an arrangement, right? By having subtle differences between everything. And you can really use audio effects to give different character to different sections. But we're not talking about audio effects today. I'm excited to make a video about that, and I'm going to do it within the next couple days. Okay, so I've got this loop here. That's like the idea. That's like kind of what I wanted to show you. Real quick, just for fun, I'm going to like get some drums in here just for fun. We're going to talk about drums another day, but just so that, you know, just for some fun times. Yeah. So there you go, man. Day 3. Audio clips. Practice, because it's getting real in this bitch pretty soon. Alright, peace, my friends.